find. That's the guy you find. That's the guy. Bart talked about it earlier. When Mahomes saw the matchup, he'll verse whatever DB is covering him. I trust him more than anybody else. I'm going to go find him when it's all on the line. And then you got to be accurate and throw the prettiest ball that Tyreek Hill has ever seen, because it's going to him. It's obviously the prettiest ever.
What are we hearing from down there?
Yeah, they're excited. I mean, like, they have the offensive head coach in. They feel like Tua is healthier than he's been at any other point in his pro career so far, and they've loaded up weapons around him. I mean, Jalen Waddle's still a really good player. They like the running backs they brought in and all the speed at that position. There is optimism in Miami that they can have a very good team. And the offensive line, I'm told, is also important.
Well, as we wait and see what
Again, this is what happened. Just the whole going over Armstead, who is probably one of the best left tackles in our game. He didn't even name.
Maybe Jeff, can I ask you had remembered the pancakes.
Oh, right. Jeff, better situation, Jalen Hurts or Tua Tagovailoa?
Oh, I'm going to go Hurts, but I do like McDaniel in Miami with it. I think I agree with you. This is a sleeper team.
Look, we got the three Alabama quarterbacks that are all in the conversation here. We talked about Jalen Hurts earlier. I'm a believer. Then we got Mac Jones. New England Patriots.
Yeah, Belichick decided to fly them to Miami today and spend the entire week there practicing in the heat and the humidity. The Patriots are 2-7 in their last 9 games in Miami. So obviously Belichick, especially with a young team that doesn't have a lot of experience in these or any other conditions, wants to be down there working all week to shake something up and maybe change the mojo about the Miami.
Are we strict on curfews? Or
right,
are we trying to get guys?
Because that could be a distraction.
Are we trying to get guys dehydrated before Sunday?
My guess is that Bill is building. So what's the question? What are you asking?
What's it going to sound like in Dallas?
My
scenario comes true.
You're asking me if he's going to fire his head coach before the end of the season.
Yep.
Yes.
I say no. He's done that exactly one time, and it was 12 years ago, and they were 1-7. They had just lost at home to the Jaguars. It was a complete disaster. I think if they're 1-7, if they're 2-9, if it's an embarrassing failure, then yes. But I don't think that's where this Cowboys team is headed. They had the opposite of the Eagles offseason. They lost guys that they probably need. Right. The Eagles went out and got guys they need. I like the Eagles to win the division. I love Jalen Hurts' trajectory, all that stuff. But I don't think the Cowboys are going off of a cliff. There are enough good players there and enough really good players. And the quarterback is excellent. And I think the wide receiver is excellent. Micah Parsons is excellent.
It's a mandate,
I think
Jerry put a mandate out there.
Right.
He said that we need to go deep into the playoffs. And if you're 2-4 and look like you're going in the wrong direction, you got to shake it up sometime.
Not in the NFC this year. That's not 2-4 is not going to take them out.
But to what he's saying, maybe you feel like you need to change the mojo a little bit. And you've got the guy in the building. That's the point. The coach in waiting is sitting right there.
But that's not how Jerry Jones operates. Contrary to his reputation, that is not how he operates. He does not fire coaches willy-nilly.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
We'll see.
Jeff, final word.
No, ain't going to happen. He's not going to fire a guy in the middle of the season. I agree. No matter how bad it looks, I don't think he fires him. He moves on, and he may move on at the end of the season.
Give me one more, Jerry, and one more.
Man, you got me lower than a crippled cricket. We got to play better.
He calls me Raymond, by the way. Jerry Jones' name is Raymond.
As we prepare for the start of the football season, it's time for us to dive into breakfast. Jeff brought pancakes.
Do it!
Pancakes is one of our favorite things.
So let me show you how we're going to get this thing started.
Yeah.
Get your feet up. Show that athleticism. Get them up. Bam. Oh, no. That's how we start this off. Let's go. We back, baby.
Absolute trash. Oh, it's a thing of beauty.
You can't stop us, Brady. You can't stop us. Yes, I will put one like that thing. We are back.
The fact that PK Subban made that open is just spectacular.
I love it.
It's the first of the season, and it's Bart Scott's first ever taste of Jeff Saturday's pancakes.
Let's get him up. Let's get him up. Let's get him up, Bart. We got to get the thing. Oh, yeah. He's been in that huddle before. Hey, we are back in action. We went low carb because Dan forgot the pancakes. We're going to forgive him, forgive and forget. Let's move on. Let's start down in Georgia. Look right here. The entire right side of the offensive line getting dudes down. You got one right there. You got one up top. Look at these bodies hitting the ground. Oregon fans, Jeff Schwartz, that's embarrassing. You cannot let that happen. Dudes are getting snuck out and knocked down. Look at this guy. He's doing the Army called the bear crawl. No sir. And get one up top. You got to love it. It's one pancake, and there's some little dudes in there. You can't get big guys. You know how it is. But you feel what I'm saying. One pancake, great start for the Georgia Bulldogs. Number 2, look at Southern Miss. I want you to watch this. Gets one block, but watch the speed by the tight end right here. Coming down, look back. Get some. Get some, little man. You better get out the way. The train is coming. You're on the track. Absolutely. And here's my favorite part. Look at the arm. Watch him reach with his right hand late. Oh, you can't see. He's like this. There we go.
In the state of Texas. Ooh. What do you think?
I'm not going to give you the Bart Scott treatment that I just gave, but I will say this. You better be cautiously optimistic here. All right? Cautiously. You still got Jalen Hurts has got to prove it. This is a great offensive line, great defensive line, great rushing attack. Can they, if they get behind against teams or they struggle early, can they come back and put up points offensively? That would be my question. So Jalen Hurts is going to be kind of your thermostat, right? If he goes, they go. If not, you're going to have issues. I'm letting you know. You're discounting the Vikings, the Cards, the Steelers. There are still some teams in there that could give them problems because they can make it physical type teams. So the 7-2, I'm not 100% against it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
2 of them will beat the Eagles. They'll split the tough ones and they'll win the easy ones.
Well, the Cowboys have put on a pretty good 5 of 6 as well. So let's not just walk all the way through this. So there's a reason we play some. I mean, you know, I know he covers them. There's a reason we play some.
What do you think, Bart?
Listen, the Eagles are trending in the right direction. This is a quarterback user-friendly type.
We haven't played a game. What are you talking about?
But one thing we know is for sure, that offensive line is the most physical offensive line in all the games.
Agreed.
And now you have a quarterback that can add to the running game, that led the league in rushing last year. Now you can go out and you give him 2 weapons on the outside. If you dare creep that 8th man in the box, you got one-on-ones on the outside with Smith and Brown. Should be barbecue chicken. Listen, this team takes the wheel from you. I'm telling you, Jeff Friday. Greeny is on one today.
Listen, I agree. The offensive line. They were 9-7 with the best rushing attack last year. Yep. So let's not get like we're going to stamp 13 wins to this football team right now because of their schedule. You still got to go play him, and he's got to make those throws to those studs on the outside.
Graziano, are they barbecue chicken?
I don't know what that means.
I don't even know what it means.
It's hard for me to say.
But I liked the question.
But yeah, look, I think they're a good-looking roster. I think I think they're really good-looking roster on the defensive line. They have a lot of good pieces. But I think Jeff is correct that it's about the quarterback. He's a young player. Young players still make mistakes. I don't think it's going to be. I hear great things about Jalen Hurts and where he is and what he's doing. I think he's going to show improvement this year. But I think that's a stretch to say 7-2. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're 9-7 last year. The Cowboys demolished the place.
Yes.
Here's what I will say. Washington's a division game. You're going to just pencil.
They say they have Carson Wentz.
They definitely got the better part of that. Here's what I will say. I understand that Jalen Hurts is a question. No one could dispute that. But there's something about that kid that makes me feel like his answers are going to be yes.
100%.
There's something about him
100%.
going back to his day, the way he handled the Alabama situation, everything else about this. I believe in the kid.
And they're not asking much.
Not necessarily in year 2 as a starter, right? Because there's going to be ups and downs with young players.
He's handled a lot of nonsense all too well in his career.
I am not throwing my guy under the bus. But we won 11 games with Mark Sanchez.
Yes.
And this is
yes,
very
you are. You're
similar.
throwing him under the bus.
This is very
somebody blow the horn.
You're not pulling out from under the bus.
No, I love you, Mark. You know I love you, man. But this is a very similar roster. This is complete. They had issues on the back end. They went out and go get Bradbury to kind of shore that secondary up. This offensive line, I watched them just take the manhood from people. They move people against their will, Jeff Saturday.
Yeah, let's just live in a world for a moment, though, if I may, where I'm closer to right than wrong. And the Cowboys, who have the absolute opposite, the beginning of their schedule is brutal. And that Week 6 game against the Eagles
is enormous.
If they're hovering in the area of 2-4, and one of those losses is in the division to a team that's up and away, what's that going to sound like around? That's the Eagles' first. Look at who the Cowboys have to play. They've got Tampa, Cincinnati, the Rams, and then the Eagles. If they lose that Eagles game, they're probably staring at 2-4, or could easily be. Let's put it that way. Then what's it going to sound like in Big D, Jeff Saturday?
Straight panic. There'll be a lot of panic going on.
Let me ask you this. What might Jerry Jones say in his own inimitable way if that's the way things are
He
going.
say, man, way we're playing's got me lower than a crippled cricket, boys. Jerry's got to see something better from you, man. Let's make it happen. But I have heard those words to the ear. I have heard them spoken.
And look, Dan Quinn is in the building. The guy he wants to be his coach, and the guy he really